Hi, I'm just getting set up here. And
Hey, maybe let me see it.
hi, the real Hajan. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that back, or excuse me, I'm sorry. May not be pronouncing that correctly, but thank you for joining me. I'm still kind of setting up. I don't actually go have anything scheduled for tonight, but I'll be talking a little bit more about what we talked about last week, which was about, the whole thing with the 424. Hi, Sheely at 1989. Thank you for joining me. I was just saying that I don't really have anything scheduled to talk about tonight, and I go live at 7:30, but I start out a little bit early and never have a clock available. I don't know why it doesn't occur to me to move a clock in here so I can actually see the time, because I can't see it on either of my phones during the live. But hi, C Bombs 06. Thank you for joining me. And hi, Cubby 1. Thank you for joining me. I was just saying that um, tonight we'll talk a little bit more about what we talked about last week. And good to see you again, Cubby One. Hi, Lisa Bachman 21. Thank you for joining me. And hi, praise the Lord, brothers and sisters, in Jesus' name. I love that. It's kind of long, but it's great. Thank you for joining us. We're actually going to talk a little bit more tonight about what we did last week, a little bit because of that whole 424 thing going viral. We talked about some of the things that women could do to keep themselves safe, and not really so much about personal protection. But hi, Rick James 790. Is that? Oh, hi there. Um, QB, QB Cutie. Is that right? QB Cutie? Well, I don't know. Hi, Mrs. Metal Crazy 22. Love that. We love the metal. Hi, Deborah 562 and Short 6969. Thank you for joining me. Did I get that right? Cutie 1. Did I get that? QB. QB. Oh, Lord help me. Got it. QB. Got it. Got it. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I have trouble with the usernames a lot. it's it's kind of ridiculous, actually. It's like I don't know why I can't read. I'm doing great, Mrs. Metal Crazy. I love that so much. I love that. I like all different genres of music, but I do like the heavy metal. I love Ozzy and I love Metallica. Like that, like that a lot. Now I don't like the real heavy stuff like Pantera, and that's kind of that's too far over my head. But I do love, I guess you would call it, the softer metal. And one of my really good friends in Columbus, Ohio, where I lived most of my adult life until about 5 years ago. Oh, really? I would love to see my very favorite song that Metallica does. In fact, I bought that whole double CD. I don't remember the name of the CD, but for the song Whiskey in a Jar, that was actually an old Tin Lizzy song, or I'm sorry, Thin Lizzy, that they redid, and I saw them do it on the Grammys because I wasn't as familiar with Metallica back then, but years and years ago they did Whiskey in a Jar on the Grammys, and it was phenomenal. And so, and one of my really good friends who always had a band in Ohio, he was an engineer that I worked with, but in fact, he is a full-time musician now up by Cleveland. His band at the time was called Aunt Dick, and they did a great version of Whiskey in the Jar, and they did it like the Metallica version. So that's my favorite, and I like Sandman. I like a lot of their songs, but anyway, isn't that funny? That I never thought of that. I probably don't look like I would like rap either, but I love Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Love that music too. Absolutely love it. And NWA and Cypress Hill, love it. So I do have a wide variety of musical taste, but I do, and I love Eminem, like a lot of music. Loved Kurt Cobain. The Unforgiven. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you another one of my favorite bands, and they're not heavy metal. They're a little heavier. They're from Toledo, but they've moved to Nashville now, are the Black Keys. I love them. It's Patrick Carney and Dan Auerbach. And actually, Patrick Carney's uncle, Ralph Carney, was in a band back in the 70s out of Toledo called Tin Huey. I actually have their album, and when I was on MySpace years ago, I actually met Ralph Carney. And I just discovered the Black Keys. They had been around a while, but I hadn't discovered them yet. And it just so happened that right after that, they were playing a by invitation only show in Columbus at this place called Scully's Downtown Diner. And by that time, they'd already had a hit, quite a few years earlier with Howlin' for You, and I can't remember the other hit that they had had. But anyway, I found out about that show, and I said something to a friend of mine, and, "Oh, I'm doing great, D. Jack Whitman. I remember you from last week. You were here. Thank you so much for coming back." And but anyway, there was a show, it was called Scully's Downtown Diner, and I told a friend of mine, he's like, "There's no way the Black Keys are playing at that venue. It's too small. It only held about 600 people. "Oh, I'm doing great, D. Jack Whitman. I'm doing really good. How about yourself?" But, and I don't know, I haven't seen Zach yet, but I don't think it's 7:30, and I always miss him. Let me look up here and I can see if he's here yet. Oh, hi, Shelley. Hi, Shelley. Thank you so much for coming. One of my really good friends from the company that we both worked for is here. Her name is D. Shelley Shell. I think is that Shelley Johnson? Let me know if that's Shelley Johnson. And, oh, hi, Alex Richmond. How are you doing that? I can't talk. But, anyway, what I was saying about the Black Keys, turns out it was a by invitation only show. And I really wanted to go to it. Well, it just so happened that somebody that I worked with knew somebody at one of the radio stations, and so I did end up with 2 tickets, and I went and saw them there, and they were incredible. And it was somewhat of not a true mosh pit, but here I was, dressed in my work clothes, with my big grandma purse on my arm at this Black Keys show, and I swear my friend that went with me, her and I were the only women there that I saw. And I don't know if the whole OSU basketball team was there or what, but every person there must have been 6'5" because, but it was great. It was absolutely incredible. But that was kind of my first sort of mosh pit experience. And yeah, it was great. But I did have my big grandma purse on my arm. Oh, yes, I do like stories, Alex Richmond. I love stories, as a matter of fact. That is one of my favorite things. I don't know. I'm doing something here. Can you guys hear me okay? Somebody tell me if you can hear me or not. Because I'm a little farther away from my phone than I usually would be. Oh, good, good. Is it really you, Shelley? I thought it was. So glad you're here. That's great. Love it. Shala's usually here. I don't think she's here yet. Oh, do I write stories? You know what? Actually, Alex, can I call you? Is that? Yeah, Alex. May I call you Alex? Yes, actually, I do write stories. In fact, I'm working on one right now that's kind of interesting. It involves time travel and going back in time, and I do love music. Music is one of my very favorite things in the world, and I like all kinds of music. And that's actually going to be my mechanism for time travel in the story, because I want to go back to when I was in high school. And so I bought Jackson Browne's Running on Empty album and Bob Seger's Night Moves album, because those are two albums we used to listen to every day at lunchtime when I was in high school. And I have a record player. I'm not going to call it a turntable because that would make it sound too elaborate. It's just a record player, self-contained thing. And oh, thank you, Alex. And hi, Jessica Morgan 112. Thank you for joining us. But anyway, my mechanism for time travel is going to be listening to those albums. And I mean, that's how I'm writing the story, but I'm actually going to do this. And you know how when you hear a song and it can take you right back to where you were when you heard it maybe the first time, or where you were, and it can have this flood of memories. It's kind of like I always give the example of, and I don't know why I cannot remember the writer's name right now, French writer. Lord, I know his name as well as I know mine, but can't pull it right now. But anyway, he bit into a cookie called a Madeleine, and it gave him such a flood of memories that he wrote 7 volumes of remembrance of things past. And Marcel Proust, that's who it was. And so you know how taste and smell and music, for me, music is my big memory trigger. And so that's going to be my mechanism for time travel. And I kind of got that. There's a movie with Christopher Reeves in it called Christopher Reeves, and I don't even remember who else is out. Jane Seymour, from I'm pretty sure it was 1982. It was called Somewhere in Time. And that mechanism that he uses for time travel is sort of similar, and I kind of got the idea from there. And my son Zach is helping me with that story too. But hi, Light Skin Clay. Thank you for joining us. And I'm going to look again up here and see. Yeah, I don't see either one of my moderators yet. I don't see Zach here yet, and I don't see Ricky. Ricky is Moto Gator. Don't see them yet. They may have deserted me. I was not doing that great last week. I was teasing both of them, and then so I may have lost my moderators. Hi, Diana Smith 77. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Hey, Shelly, would you mind telling me the time? I have no way in here of knowing what time it is. I don't know why it hasn't occurred to me to put a clock in here. I was using my Echo, but then I discovered that that's what was throwing me off of live every time. Thank you, Shelly. Perfect, because I start at 7:30. Oh, it's 6. Oh, yeah, Central Time. Thank you, Mrs. Metal Crazy. Hi, Nazar. Thank you for joining us. I'm so happy to see you. And I do want to tell you guys, my friend Nazar One, who just joined us, she has some of the most beautiful and inspirational TikToks on her page that if you're not already following her, give her a follow and have a look at, especially if you like inspirational, just beautiful and very inspirational things on her page. Love her. One of my favorite TikTokers. Oh, good to see you too, Nazar. I'm so happy you're here. Who is, oh, that's Mrs. Metal Crazy. I was making sure I didn't miss somebody that joined that I hadn't said hello to. And, oh, my pleasure, Nazar. That was a long time coming, but better late than never, I guess. I don't know why I never did that before. Because you're always here. You are one of my biggest supporters. Love that so much and appreciate it so much. But I haven't seen Shala yet. Shelly, have you seen Shala yet? I haven't seen her yet. She's usually here. And I haven't seen either one of my moderators yet. Oh, hi, Ma Boys 1968. Thank you for joining us. And I was going to do tonight, I was going to touch a little bit on what I talked about last week. And okay, thank you, Shelly. Appreciate it. If you have Shala's number, text her and tell her that you're here. Maybe she'll get here quicker. We could have a reunion. I'm trying to get BJ on TikTok. She yells at me every time I send her one of my TikToks and tells me to stop doing that. But I haven't talked to her actually for probably about 2 weeks now. But it's one of friends that Dee Shelley and I used to work with, and we still stay in touch. But she lives in Delaware, Ohio, actually, and my friend BJ. But and Shelley's friend BJ. Her name's Brenda, but we call her BJ. And but anyway, I was going to talk about a little bit more about what our topic was last week. Hi, RJC Raby 1 or Rabby 1. RJC Rabby 1. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. And I'm looking up here again because I still don't see either one of my moderators. I think they've deserted me. Hi, Debbie Estes. Thank you for joining us. I missed you when you came in. And then user 6596. Oh, I can't see it there. The reason I have two phones, for those of you who haven't been with us before, is because well, I can't read comments on the phone that I'm broadcasting from because I have the ring light which blinds me. So I use my other phone and log on to another account. And hi, Muskingan. Muskingan 7. Am I saying that right? That sounds like an Ohio name. Don't we have a Muskegon County in Ohio, Shelley? Hi, Leanne Ledoux. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. And I think, I guess I should have sent Zach an invitation yesterday, or last night, or today, because I never asked him if he was coming, and I always ask him. But anyway, it's early yet, but he's usually here early. He's usually here at 7 o'clock. I think he may have had enough of me. And my daughter Alexis was here last week, and my son-in-law. I think I had like 7 or 8 of my family members here last week. Apparently that was enough for them. But Zach is one of my moderators, so he's usually always here. But anyway, what we were talking about last week were things that women can do. I wasn't talking about like self-defense measures. I was talking about things like being aware of your environment and those kind of things. Well, it also came up, and I also did learn what RBF stands for, that my daughter suggested to me. That stands for resting bee face, which all of you probably know, but I did not know. And then my son brought up the fact that I had lit somebody on fire before. And I said, that is true. And any of you who follow me or have seen my page know that I use, in fact, last week, I've had a bad couple of weeks, not feeling well. And anyway, so most of my videos, I don't know that I actually did a true TikTok last week. I think this past week, I think every video that I posted were all clips from my lives, which I do a lot. But anyway, hi, Mrs. Metal Crazy. Thank you for coming back. I did post a clip where my son was mentioning that I had lit somebody on fire, and I had some questions about that, because I said, well, as a matter of fact, I have lit somebody on fire once, and it was actually outside. And Shelley, you may know this place. It was from years ago, and I have no idea where it actually was. I think it was somewhere between Columbus and Delaware. But it was this place where all it was more like a shelter house, and it was actually a bar that was only open in the summertime. In the wintertime, they would shut it down, and I think the people that owned it wintered in Florida, where they had another place down there. But it was just a big open like shelter house, and it had picnic tables, and none of that is relevant to how or why I set somebody on fire. And I will say I did not intentionally set them on fire. What happened was, hi Lolly 1, thank you for joining us. But there was a person, a boy, because I was young at the time. I think this was probably not long before I got married. And because I was with my future husband at the time. And this boy, and I'm sitting on a picnic table, and you know how you're kind of down low. Well, he kept putting his rear in my face. And I noticed there was this fringe hanging on his jean pocket, you know, like a frayed thing. Well, I picked up a cigarette lighter and stuck to that. I didn't intend for it to go up in flames. I just was trying to make him move. Hi, Manivas. Thank you for joining us. Well, anyway, it went up in flames. And so then I had to start beating him to put it out, which he didn't know that his rear end was on fire. So he thought I was flirting with him. So that's my story about how I set somebody on fire. accidentally. I did intend, it wasn't truly an accident because I did intentionally put the cigarette lighter to that frayed edge on the pocket, but I didn't know it was going to burst into flames. I had no idea that was going to happen. But anyway, so that is the story about me lighting somebody on fire. And I don't think any of the people who asked me about that are here yet. But anyway. So that was, I did want to clear that up. And it seems like there was another question that somebody had about something else that I posted, and I don't remember, don't remember what it was that I was going to, something that in one of the clips, oh, I know. Zach brought up while we were talking, and what I was talking about is how, and I know Shelly is familiar with this, hi, Top Lude, or, Top Dude. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry I didn't get that right the first time. Thank you, Top Dude, for joining us. But anyway, what I was talking about last week is, and again, Shelly, I know you're familiar with this, is one of the things that we can do that's kind of a deterrent from people approaching, unwanted people, and we were mostly talking about violence against women and how things that women could do, like being aware of their environment and things like that, that you could do to keep yourself safer. Nothing, that's not going to keep you completely safe, but safer. And one of the things that I talked about was, which is how the RBF came up. Apparently I have an RBF, which is a resting bee face. But we were talking about, Zach called it acting like you own the room. And when you're like that, it makes you less approachable. And that can be a deterrent. So we were talking about that, and Zach brought up the Detroit story. And the Detroit story is about Zach and I being in Detroit. It's been pretty close to 10 years ago. And what had happened is Zach used to live in Iowa, and he flew to Kentucky at Christmas time. Well, on his way back to Iowa, his connecting flight was canceled in Detroit due to snow, and he was stranded there for 2 days. And where Shelly and I used to work, we had the week between Christmas and New Year's off every year for plant shutdown. So I was off work. Zach told me that he was stranded in Detroit, so I thought, well, I'm going to Detroit. So I jumped in the car and drove to Detroit so I could spend the 2 days with him, because he was going to be getting married the next summer, and I knew that might be my last opportunity. Hi, Mama Cooey. Thank you for joining us again. Appreciate it so much. So I took off to Detroit, and I thought we might go hear some music. And one of my friends, Shelly, you probably remember Chad. He was one of the engineers, and he was a musician. Well, anyway, he lived in Detroit at the time, so I thought maybe he would be playing there, but actually his family was in Columbus for the weekend. So we kind of missed each other. But I found a venue where there was going to be a band playing that night, and so my son and I went there, and we were there on a Tuesday night, and it wasn't that easy to find live music in downtown Detroit on a Tuesday night, actually, but found one, so I thought. So anyway, we went to this place. We were sitting there for quite some time, actually. And I thought, boy, these people are ridiculous not showing up on time. And I had a particular bad habit at the time that requires you to step outside. And in the dead of winter, it was really, really cold. and there were so many homeless people there. It was unreal. And they kept coming in because it was so cold. I mean, I don't know how cold it was, but it was very, very cold. It was probably not sub-zero, but it was probably close to zero. And so the homeless people kept coming into the bar, and they would have to make them leave. Hi, Aiden. Thank you for joining us. Love you. Aiden is my cousin. Actually, she's my first cousin's daughter. But thank you for joining us, Aiden. Hi, BME. Oh, B Meadows. Sorry about that. Hi, B Meadows. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Sweet Pea 100. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to check one more time. See if my son is here yet. Do not see him. In fact, oh, and if I don't know if my cousin Debbie is here, but Debbie, if you're here, let me know, because I saw somebody that has a user ID that doesn't have, it just says user and a big strong long string of numbers, and I know you don't have a username, so if that's Debbie, say hi, Debbie. Oh. But yes, thank you, Sweet Pea. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. But so what happened? Hi, I can't see. La la la, la 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 lolly. You're my cousin, really? I can't see the picture, so I can't see your face, so I don't know who you are. I have a lot of cousins. There were 9 children in my dad's family and 7 in my mom's family. On my mom's side, I have, I think, 18 cousins, and on my dad's side, I counted them not long ago. I think I have 18 on both sides, on my mom's side. And now, of course, my cousins have children, and even some of their children have children. So I have a lot of cousins. But, Lala Lolly, are you my cousin on the Pingleton side or the Hamilton side? But back to the Detroit story. So my bad habit that I had to go outside, and this bar, it was a bar and a music place, was out, it was right on the street. I don't know what the street was, but it was probably a main drag in Detroit. And so I stepped outside, and when I was standing outside, there was a lot of, like I said, a lot of homeless people. And this one man came up to me, and I told Zach to stay inside. I told him not to come outside. And, but he could see through the window. At least he could partially see. Coming from one direction on the street, he could see. Coming from the other direction, he could not see. Well, this man came, and he asked me for a cigarette. Oh, that was the bad habit that I wasn't going to mention. But so I gave him a cigarette, and he stood there, and him and I were standing there smoking our cigarettes and having a conversation. And then I gave him a couple more cigarettes, and then he moved along. And well, then I was standing out there, and then he apparently was just walking up and down the street. I mean, which makes perfect sense. But he was coming back, so he went past the window where Zach could see him. And so Zach came outside, and I said, Zach, I told you to stay inside. You don't need to come out here. And he pointed to the guy coming down the street, and I can't remember what the man's name was. I'm going to say his name was Bill. I don't remember what his name was, but I did know his name because we had introduced ourselves. And so he was coming back, and Zach's like, you know, this man coming. This is why I'm coming out here, so you're not out here by yourself. I'm like, oh, Bill? Oh, him and I are friends. And that's why Zach wanted me to tell the story last week when I was talking about that, because that is kind of how I don't think about things like that. It's like, I have no fear of people. It didn't make any difference to me that the man was homeless. I wasn't afraid of him. He looked perfectly harmless to me. But Zach didn't think so. Oh, Alicia. Oh, yeah. You know what? I knew your name was Lala Lolly. Thank you for joining us, Alicia. Yes, Alicia is my cousin Rhonda's daughter. That is on my mom's side. Alicia, I'm sorry, I can't see your picture very well. That's why I didn't know who you were. Yeah. Alicia is the daughter of the cousin on my mom's side that I'm closest to, my cousin Rhonda. In fact, you know, Alicia, your Memaw was here today. Her and Irvin were here pretty much all day today. They don't live in the same city that I live in. They live about an hour and a half away down by Lake Cumberland. And my cousin Alicia's, oh, hi, the Red Liz. Thank you for joining us. But, yeah, she was here today. That's why I didn't. Hi, Aiden. Thank you for coming back. I haven't seen Zoe or Whitney or Zach. And Zach is actually one of my moderators, and I haven't seen him yet. And I haven't seen either one of my moderators. As a matter of fact, I think they've deserted me. I've probably offended them in some way. Which I would not be surprised about. I was giving one of them a hard time last week about being late, even though he comes here and he actually works 20 hours a week because he's a farmer. So he works pretty much round the clock, but he's always here. And I was giving him a hard time for being late last week. He probably decided he'd had enough of my foolishness and has deserted me and my son as well. But, yeah, so that was the Detroit story that Zach alluded to, and I've told the story about lighting somebody on fire, so we got those out of the way. And, anyway, but, so I actually don't have to pay attention to time because I only go from 7:30 to 8:30, and I go off at 8:30 pretty much out of respect for my moderators, because I tell them that I will do this from 7:30 to 8:30, and both of them, it's my son Zach and one of my friends on TikTok. Hi, McVens 2015. McVens, am I getting that right? Thank you so much for joining us. And anyway, trying to think there wasn't really any other thing that I was going to talk about other than, again, back to what we were talking about, McVens. Yes, thank you so much for letting me know I got that right. Oh, thank you, Alicia. Thank you for sending me the likes. I love that. And, but last week I talked mostly about, again, just the being aware of your environment, because again I'm back to violence against women and some of the things that we can do to protect ourselves. Actually, they were more preventative measures that I talked about last week, that if you find yourself in an environment where you don't feel safe. And last week I talked about one of my experiences, and I didn't say the name of the city, but it was actually Atlanta, that I was down getting on the subway platform in Atlanta at midnight, which was not really a good place to be. Absolutely, Sweet Pea. Absolutely. Absolutely tell them. And you know, one of the things that somebody, and I don't remember, and Nazar, it may have been you. Hi, the Red Liz. Thank you for coming back. Um, but I think it might have been Nazar that last week brought up, because we were talking about when you're going out of either your work or your home, or like when you're going into a parking garage, either exiting your car or getting, going back to your car, to always look around and be aware of your environment. And something my dad taught me was, while you're at a distance from your car, to look while you're away from your car, because at that point you can see under your car. And that's one of the things that people will do. Hi, Erica Marie. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Was that you, Nazar? I thought it was. The thing about the headphones. Yeah. Well, Nazar brought up the other thing that not to do, that it's a really bad idea to do. Yes. McVans, yes, that's who taught me this, because my dad was a military police officer. So he taught me a lot of things like that, as well as how to defend myself. But, and the reason we were talking about this last week is because of the 424 thing, which I'm not going to go into that. But the fact that that had gone viral gave us an opportunity to talk about violence against women and some of the things that women could do. And I wanted to talk about that because that was something my dad taught me from the time I was a little girl. But back to what I was saying about when you're going to your car or from your car, whether you're in a parking garage or your own driveway or whatever, when you get out of the car or when you walk out your front door, always have your key in hand, so that you're not fumbling through your purse or fumbling around for a key. Hi, Just Lisa 68. Have that key in your hand, not to mention the fact that if you've got that key in your hand, you've also got a weapon. Absolutely, Sweet Pea. Absolutely. Sweet Pea, I said proper preparation prevents piss poor for performance, so that's absolutely true. But, oh, your dad was a trucker. Yeah, absolutely. That would be another person that I think would have that kind of awareness, that they would teach their daughter things like that. I mean, a lot of men do. They don't have to be police officers, or, men in all professions want their daughters to stay safe. But, again, have your key in your hand so that when you get to your vehicle or to the door that you're going in, you're not fumbling for a key. Plus, then you've got a weapon. But what I was saying before about being aware of your surroundings, and Nazar brought up such a good point that I hadn't actually thought about, because I don't wear headphones really, other than in the house sometimes. But, not to get out of your car and walk that space across a parking lot, or going to your car with headphones on, either earbuds or, headphones. Hi, Truth Hurts 502. Thank you for joining us again. Not to do that, because if you've got those earbuds or headphones on, listening to music or book on, a Audible book or whatever you're listening to, that is going to distract you from what is going on around you. And particularly at night, and I'm saying this like we have to conduct ourselves in a way that we're always walking around afraid. And that isn't what I mean at all, because I assure you, when I walk around wherever I am, I don't care if it's downtown Detroit. That's why I told the Detroit story. I'm not the least bit afraid, but I am always keenly aware of my surroundings and to make sure, and that was a story I told about being in the subway at midnight. What my dad taught me to do in a situation like that, and my son put it best, he called it acting like you own the room. And that is a really good description, because one of the things that I talked about is how if you look like you belong there, and you, even if you're lost and scared to death, you act like you belong there, you know where you are, you know what you're doing, and like you own the room. Act like you're not afraid. Don't show fear, because that actually makes you more vulnerable to someone. And again, I said this last week, I do not ever want to imply in any way that because a woman is attacked, that, well, she should have done this. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you find yourself in an environment where you don't feel safe, whether you could be anywhere, you could be in an airport, train station, bus station, bar, restaurant, anywhere, especially if you're by yourself. You may not plan it that way, but if you end up in, I didn't plan to be on the subway platform at midnight in Atlanta, I can tell you that. I just didn't know any better. And I told this last week about how the bartender in this very well-known restaurant actually suggested that I, instead of getting a taxi, in fact, Shelly, I was there for Stone Expo. That's what I was doing there. And I was with John Angel and his wife and Brad. But I didn't expect that to happen. But once I got down there, it was very clear I didn't belong there. And it was probably not a safe environment, especially at that time of night. And anyway, that's what I did. I just laughed and talked and acted like I belonged there, to the point that my significant other who was with me thought I was just oblivious to the danger that we were in. Because when we left, when we got off the subway, hi Jenny Suli. Hi there, thank you for joining us. And I'm sorry, Jenny Sue Lee. Thank you for joining us. But that's exactly what I did. Hi, Tyler Williams. Thank you for joining us. I don't know whether that saved us from anything or not. There's no way of knowing that. But again, the reason that I brought this up is because just if you find yourself in a circumstance like that, think about these things. Be aware of your surroundings. Put on your RBF, or your resting bee face, as my daughter Alexis called it, and act like you own the room. And be aware. And again, Nazar's point about if you walk from across a parking lot, I don't care if it's broad daylight or evening, because people do get attacked in broad daylight too. And as women, we are more vulnerable to attack. And we know how much violence there is against women. And hi, Tyler Williams. Yeah, you got yeah, you got RBF 24/7, Alicia. I think that's what Alexis was insinuating when I was saying what I was talking about when she brought that up. I was talking about how people don't approach me. And when I was young, I actually was a little offended by that. I could be, and I said I didn't usually go out to clubs or bars by myself, but what would happen, because I didn't dance, the people that I was with did, so a lot of times I would be left sitting by myself. And I'm going to add something to this story, because I'm going to tell you another time when I realized how true this was. But what Alexis brought up, because I said when I was young, I didn't know why people didn't approach me, because I was a fairly attractive young woman, and men never approached me. Just didn't happen. Absolutely, Miss Metal Crazy, that's absolutely true. Hi, Jack Skelling on the fan. Oh, Jack's, something about, oh, Jack Skeffington fan, I swear. I don't know why I can't read words when they're all ran together. Yeah, if you're at a store, that's right. But real quick, I'm going to say, don't wear headphones when you're making that walk from your car. But back to what I was talking about when you're out with friends in a bar, and I can tell you, men did not approach me. They just didn't do it. I didn't find out until I was older, probably in my 30s or 40s, to where I started to gain an understanding and people gave me an understanding. It's because I don't seem approachable. It's because I know where I am and I know what I'm doing, and I usually look like that. I don't look vulnerable or approachable. And Alexis called that a resting bee face. Apparently I have that. And anyway, I went, this was after my significant other passed away, probably 6-7 months afterwards. Hi, Sabrina Dynamite 42. And this was my significant other of 16, almost 17 years, and I had lost him to suicide. And one of my friends tried to get me out of the house. One of my friends who's a musician that I was going to bring up to you, Mrs. Metal Crazy, because he's kind of a shredder. But he had a band back in the 80s called Project Alcazar, and he still does that. Anyway, he tried to get me out of the house they're a Delaware band, Shelley. I forget the name of the place they play. I used to play at a lot. But he was trying to get me out of the house and wanted me to come and see them. Oh, okay. Hi, Debbie. Thank you for telling me that. Some people don't mind if you use their real name, and other people don't want you to. But thank you, Debbie. You should look him up. His name is Chris Steberl, Steberl. He just put out a new CD called Lost in Centralia. But he's a great guitar player, and I've done his CD covers for 20 years, because that was another one of my professions, as I was a graphic artist. Hi, Nina Wins 87. Thank you for joining us. And I'm going to have a look here again. Nazar, have you seen Zach? Hi, Liz. I didn't see. Oh, hi, Alexis. Thank you for coming. I'm so happy you're here. Your brother and Ricky both my moderators have apparently left me. I was apparently not nice to them last week for talking about being late. Zach wasn't late, but anyway. So I have no moderators. And I seem to be doing just fine without them. The one thing that Zach does, Alexis, were you here when I was talking about the RBF last week, and I finally figured out what that is? But anyway, back to what I was saying. And I don't want to go too dark with this, but after I had lost my significant other, and my friend talked me into coming and hearing him play music. Hi, the One ID. Thank you for joining us. he wanted me to come, and the place that he was playing, remember the Lazy Chameleon, Lexus? Hi, QB1. Thank you for coming back. Well, anyway, Lex, we went to the Lazy Chameleon before. I think we went there and saw Chris, didn't we? I don't remember. But anyway, he wanted me to come just to kind of get me out. And the place was 2 or 3 miles. Hi, Mrs. Johnson. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Anyway, I love you. He finally talked me into coming out, and it was sometime around Christmas time, either shortly before or shortly after Christmas. And so he told me what he would do because, you know, he's playing in the band. So he told me he put a table for me right up, not too far from the stage, down at the end of the stage where he would be. And he told me, you know, and I was there by myself, and, you know, he was going to be playing, and I think I may have gone and had dinner with him or something before the show, but he had me sit there, and he said, now, if anybody bothers you or you feel uncomfortable or anything, just kind of put your hand up and give me a signal, and I'll keep an eye on you. I don't know why that was necessary, but I looked pretty vulnerable. At that particular time, Alexa, I'm talking about right after Brad passed away, I was pretty vulnerable. And I will tell you this, that night when I sat there, and I didn't stay long, I think I left after their first set, and then he walked me out to the car. But I can tell you, that was the first time in my life that I had ever been out where all these men kept approaching me. I'd never had that happen in my life. And I can tell you why it happened. Because I was very vulnerable at that time. I was not my usual, you know, confident, you know where I am, know what I'm doing person. And that was kind of, when I thought about that in hindsight, because I thought, what in the world? Why are all these people? And I mean, I just had never had that experience ever in my life. All the times that I went out, men did not approach me. And I've been told that I'm very intimidating. I'm not trying to intimidate people. I think it's being confident and self-assured. Apparently that looks intimidating to some people. And I did say that last week about how men look for a woman that is somewhat vulnerable, even if they're just going to ask her to dance or ask her out. That's what predators do too. But something that I did not clarify, and I was called on this, that was one of the other things I wanted to clear up from last week, was that men who are very confident, they don't look for that. Because they are the men who will approach somebody who other people may be intimidated by. Doesn't mean a thing about that man, except he's just very sure of himself. But back to what I was saying about that night when that happened to me, I was in a really bad place then. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate it so much. I'm sorry I'm not looking down at my phone, so I'm not seeing that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know you're the one that said RBF, Alexa. When you said it, I kept asking you, what is RBF? Because I didn't know what RBF was. And then I looked it up after I got off and found out that it's resting bee face, which I actually like. I like that. I think I do have that, probably. I don't know. But that's why I wanted to talk about that, because I wanted to give that example of at a time when I was very vulnerable. So that is true. And like I said last week, if you want to test this theory for yourself, don't have to put yourself in a dangerous situation. But when you go out, wherever, especially young women, I'm not really going out to bars and clubs and pubs and places like that anymore. Oh, are you talking to me, Al? Oh, I'm sorry, Alexis is my daughter, and I call her Al. Always have. Actually comes from the Paul Simon song, Call Me Al, because she loved that song when she was little. Thank you. I got this when I went to Cumberland for the 4 or 5 days a couple weeks ago with Iva and Loretta. Well, we spent 2 days shopping when I was down there. I got this at Belk's. Well, I don't know. Oh yeah, I guess you wouldn't really see anybody else's shirt, would you? See, I think you guys are all right there and you can see each other. That's funny. Oh my God. Yeah, my perceptions are a little... Well, you guys can see each other's comments. Oh, hi, Alexis. Why are you tagging yourself in your comment? Oh, Nazar. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, I live in my own world. But I would actually think you guys could see each other. That's funny. Apparently we're just in separate rooms. You guys are all in one room and I'm in another. I did go shopping. I went shopping with Iva and Loretta and Walter's sister Poochie. I don't know if you know Poochie or not. Her and Gary have the cabin next to Iva and Walter's. Well, I went shopping with them. I went to Belk's. I got this at Belk's. It was on sale. So if you want one like it, this is the only one they had. They had a green one and they had a red one, but those looked a little too Christmassy to me. So I got the white one. Do you see how it's got the thing hanging out the bottom of it? See, that's like a piece of fabric sewed. And it's got this little slit on the side with the buttons. I really like that. But yeah, I did go shopping without you, Alexis. You know what? I don't think we have any men here. So thank you, Mrs. Johnson. I really liked it, and I wish they would have had like more of them with different color things. Like, I guess I could buy a sweater and turn it into this. But the little slit thing on the side's really cute too. But anyway, I don't think we have any men here, so we can talk about clothes. I think we should do that. Maybe we do have some men here, do we? I think all the men left us probably because we were talking about we weren't really painting them in a very good light, were we? Oh, let's see. Yep. No, we still have Alex. Is Alex a boy or a girl? I'm sorry, I can't see your picture. It's like tiny, and I can't pull it up, so I can't tell, Alex. Alex Richmond 67, or Alex Richmond 7, I'm sorry. Hey, Alexis. Say hi to DJ Shelly Shell. She's somebody that Shaw and I worked with at Abrasive. She's we were really good friends when we worked there, weren't we, Shelly? We used to have so much fun. On second shift, laughing and carrying on. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I think I finished up with that story. Alexis or Shelly, somebody tell me what time it is. Because I feel like I've been talking forever, and I cannot believe that Zach and Ricky have just absolutely deserted me. I can't even believe it. And no Whitney and no Zoe. But thank goodness we have Alexis. We have Alexis and Alicia and Mrs. Johnson and Nazar and Sweet Pea. And who else do we still have here? And McVan's still here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. That is so funny, Alicia. Whenever I saw your username, I knew that was familiar. But how are you doing? How are you doing on TikTok so far, Alicia? Did you just join here, or you been on for a little while now? But I know what I was getting ready to say, and that's another bad habit I have, is I forget what I'm saying half the time. And but if you want to experiment, thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Thank you. If you want to experiment with what I was talking about how you can hold yourself, and that's what people. Hi, Sweet Doe. Hi, oh, where's Carter? I don't see Carter. Men can't handle it. Yeah, they don't like the RBF. Hi, Kellogg's 123. I don't see Carter, Al. Carter's here? Well, anyway. Hi, Carter. What I was talking about, hi, Blackberry. Hi, Dr. Dern. And Mark, hi, Mark D59. Thank you for coming again. I saw you here last week, I remember. Thank you so much, Mark. Again, if I could finish my thought without forgetting. What I was talking about how you carry yourself and how you hold yourself in a bad situation. Why I use the term hold yourself is because, and this is remember some of you know that I do these side trips. Well, this is going to be a little side trip. In New York City, and I'm sure other cities too, but you know when they're building the skyscrapers, the people that put that metal frame up that they build the skyscrapers around, that hang that steel and walk that steel, well, they're called wind walkers. That's what they call them. And the people, the wind walkers, there's a high percentage of wind walkers who are Apache Indian. And people always think that Apache Indians make good wind walkers because they're not afraid of heights. And that's actually not true. They are as afraid of heights. You know, I'd be scared to death to be walking across whatever width those beams are, you know, however many stories up in the air in building a skyscraper in New York City. Thank you, Carter Lindsay, for giving me gifts. That is so sweet. Carter is my grandson, who is not even 9 yet. Thank you, Carter. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Are you using your Fortnite money to give me gifts? Thank you, Carter, for the flowers. Thank you so much. Hi, Sweet. Thank you, Sweet Pea, for sending me likes. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, with your money. That's what I figured out. Anyway, back to the Windwalkers. I am going to stay on that. Hi, Mary Mason 552. Thank you. Thank you, Carter. I love you, sweetie. The Windwalkers. It was always kind of the mythology that Apache Indians were not afraid of heights. That's why they were Windwalkers. Well, that's actually not true. when they interviewed one of the Apache Indians. Thank you, Carter, for those hearts. Thank you, sweetie. He said, we're as afraid of heights. Thank you, Carter. We are as afraid of heights as anybody else. We just hold it differently. And that stayed with me when I heard him say that, about how you hold fear. That's why they can walk the steel, is because they hold that fear differently. And I think what that is, maybe another way to describe it is, I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, but I've been in situations before, number one, that I put myself in when I'm standing in line to get on some gigantic roller coaster, which I haven't done in many years. Number one, because my partner in that, my significant other who passed away, and that was him and I's thing, riding roller coasters. And the other is because of my back. And, but yeah, when I'm standing in line to ride a roller coaster, I am scared to death of heights, and I am scared to death to ride a roller coaster. That's what, hi Smurfette747, thank you for joining us. But I'm scared to death of it. I'm scared to death of everything about a roller coaster. That's why I ride it, because it scares the life out of me. It's like seeing a scary movie. But every time when I'm in that line, hi sweetie, thank you for joining us, Smurfette. Thank you so much. When I'm in that line, yeah, I'm trying to hold that fear differently, because I kind of have to talk myself into it. And then, that's one of the things that I think that you can use, that if you are afraid, it's kind of like, for me, because I have done that pretty much most of my life, and then plus the other thing that we were talking about when Zach called it, oh, Mrs. Johnson, I love roller coasters. I love them. And we lived in Ohio, so we had Cedar Point in Cleveland, and we had Kings Island in Cincinnati. My favorite roller coaster, and I don't even think it's there anymore, at Kings Island and right outside of Cincinnati in Mason, Ohio, was the Beast. I like the wooden roller coasters. And at Cedar Point, my favorite roller coaster there, again, a wooden roller coaster, is the Mean Streak. And it is right on Lake Erie. In fact, you can see the lake from there. Oh, really, Smurfette? How long has it been since you've been to Kings Island? Because I will tell you, it's been probably about 20 years. Because after I had back surgery, I couldn't ride the roller coasters anymore. And there's no reason to go to a amusement park if you can't ride a roller coaster, for me. Because what we did is we would get there early in the morning, and we would just spend all day getting off at Kings Island, getting off the Beast, and then running to get in line to get back on the Beast. And that's what we did all day. Once in a while we would take a little break and go ride like Top Gun or some of those other roller coasters there. So that was pretty much, we went to Kings Island for the Beast, and we went to Cedar Point for the Mean Streak. But we did ride other roller coasters while we were there. Have you been to Cedar Point too, Smurfette? I like this. Better topic. Hi, Carter Lindsay. Thank you for sending me a rose. Oh, Alexis, was that your strategy? Instead of you sending me the gifts, have Carter send them? Have you, Smurfette, have you also been to Cedar Point or just Kings Island? But, yeah, love roller coasters, Mrs. Johnson. Do love them. Wish I could still ride them, but I could probably ride, I don't know though. I was going to say I could probably ride those metal roller coasters because they're not as rough a ride as a wooden roller coaster. That's why we like the wooden roller coaster. And I'll tell you guys a secret. I don't know if it's a secret, but something that coaster enthusiasts know that other people might not necessarily know. Yeah, my back, that's why I couldn't ride them anymore. Oh, okay. Thank you, Carter. You're so sweet. When you ride the metal roller coasters, you know, the newfangled metal roller coasters, like there's the Raptor and the, like at Kings Island, the one with the seats that hang is called Top Gun. The one at Cedar Point that has that kind of configuration is called the Raptor. But anyway, when you ride a wooden roller coaster, the best seat is the back seat. When you ride a metal roller coaster, particularly one of those that you hang under the tracks, there is no point to even riding that roller coaster if you're not in the front seat. My opinion. I like the back seat in a wooden roller coaster because it's a rougher ride. It's more fun. And again, on a metal roller coaster, if you're not in the front seat, I don't even know what the point is, because there's nothing, you know, it's smooth. And there's probably some metal roller coasters, Smurfette, that we could probably ride. Yeah, Alexis, I kind of figured all those roller coasters are gone. I know the Beast is gone because I remember reading that they were tearing it down. You know, Alexis, Chad, my friend Chad, his wife Jackie is a PR person at Cedar Point. I don't know if you knew that, and I don't even know why you would care, but it was a Cedar Point fact. But yeah, Smurfette, I bet we could probably ride some of those metal roller coasters because you know how smooth they are. But I will tell you the one. Oh, yeah. See, that was probably a smooth ride. But there was one at Kings Island, and it was right next to the Beast. And I can't remember what the name, I think it was called the Vortex, because it had this corkscrew thing that went across water. It was called the Vortex. Well, there was this hill that when you went to the top of the hill, and it was one of the highest hills too, it had this hairpin turn where it whipped you around really quick. That was really bad on my neck. Every time I rode that stupid roller coaster, I could not straighten my neck out for a week because when it flipped you around, so that one, the Vortex would not be a good one for your back because of that. You know what I'm talking about, Smurfette? That little hairpin turn thing. There's my boy, Zachary. Zachary, we're talking about roller coasters. And I don't even know how that happened. Hi, David's 10. I don't know if that's okay, Zach. Don't worry about it. You know what? I didn't even pay attention to time because neither you or Moto Gator was here. What time is it, Zach? See, I'm just hanging out and going as long as I want to because I don't have my moderators to be conscientious of because I don't like to keep them over. Yeah, that thing, that turn. Thank you, Nazar. Well, I'm just going to stay here. Zach, if you guys want to stay for a while. And you know what? Ricky didn't come, but he told me earlier today that he would be here, Lord willing. So I know he was having trouble with the air condition in his tractor because I saw a post this morning. The air condition went out in his tractor. Thank you, Carter Lindsay. Appreciate it. But yeah, Smurfette, that little quick turn up at the top of the Vortex, that messed my neck up more than once. But anyway, I do love roller coasters. Now, I can't see your oh, hi, David. Now I see who you are. I can barely make out your picture. Thank you so much for, yeah, I'm almost 62, David. I'll be 60 next month. And hi, Harley 96. Thank you for joining us. And Jeff Rom, Valraven, the new one at Cedar Point, tallest, fastest, longest dive coaster. Yeah, I wish I could go with you to Cedar Point and ride that. Is it a metal? That sounds like it's a metal roller coaster, is it? What do you think that would do to my back? Do you think that would cause me problems with my back if I rode that? Hi, the photographer. You know, I was going to tell you guys, and he didn't cut. I haven't seen him here tonight, but seeing TR photographer just reminded me. Somehow, I don't know. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, Zach. That's okay, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. Oh, Mrs. Johnson, you know, my ankle was doing fine. Oh, well, I don't think I'll want to do that then, Alexis. If I'd be laid up for a month with my back, I think I'll pass. Zach, if you want to go, sweetheart, don't worry about it. You don't have to be here. Alexis is here. You want me to make you a moderator, Alexis? And then you can fill in when Zach isn't here. Let's see if I remember how to do it. I don't know. Alright, let me see. Okay, wait a minute, Al. I gotta remember how to do it. Oh, you know what? I can't do it there. I gotta do it here. Because I'm trying to do it. There you go, Al. You are now moderator. You should have a badge. Do you have a badge? Well, Lex, I don't see the badge. Maybe I didn't do it right. Let me try it again. Oh, crap. Oh, well, I hate when I do that. I don't like those terrible things. Whoa, and I'm about to knock my ring light over. There is no pay, Alexis. Oh, you are a moderator. I don't know why your badge hasn't popped up yet. But, yeah. Oh, you got your badge now, Al. You're now a moderator. So anytime you come, you're a moderator. Let's see. Love you too, Carter. Yeah, there is. Oh, hi, Unicorn 2383. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. But, well, we talked about roller coasters. We talked about, and I don't know if I went back and said this or not, about, I've started this thought at least a dozen times since last week about how you can experiment with the RBF, or how you hold fear, or practicing, I don't know what that is, practicing, no, I don't want to do that, practicing for when you are in an unsafe environment and you need this. If you're not used to doing this, like I said, I've done this since I was young. In fact, we even said that when Zach said that about acting like you own the room. I don't know. I'm sure that is the level of confidence or the level of self-assuredness that I have. I kind of always thought I owned the room when I was younger. Just thought like that. I'm old enough to know that I don't actually own the room now, but I still act like I do. But you can experiment with that when you go out at night. I mean, I don't know how many of you are out and about, you know, like if you go out with friends for drinks or whatever, and you're single. You can't really practice this if you're married, Alexis. But try it. Try holding yourself differently and see if it makes a difference on how people approach you or whether or not they even approach you. But I do think that can be very effective. And I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. I think I might put a TikTok out because I actually haven't done a true TikTok. I took Alexis's talking unicorn saying "Mom, Mom, Mommy" that she sent to me when I didn't answer her text right away. I took that and turned it into another TikTok because that is the very first TikTok that I posted. I took that unicorn and used it in the first TikTok that I posted. And I also use it in because I've told you guys before, I'm a YouTuber and have been for many years. And I also use that unicorn in some of my YouTube videos sometimes. I also periodically, just for Alexis's benefit, post it on Facebook from time to time. I guess I'm subconsciously trying to make her pay for the fact that she ever sent it to me. Because she really does, and I get her point. I'm really here by myself, don't really have a whole lot going on. So she has a good point when she says, what could you possibly be doing that's more important than answering my texts? And now, guess what I have? I have TikTok. That is more important sometimes. Full times 224. Lex, what is 4 times 224 talking about? I don't know what. I'm trying to see that. Oh. Okay, back. I can't see. My eyes are blurring on me for some reason. Oh, fun times 244. Fun times. Hi, Zoe. I didn't know you were here. Oh, yes. And I'm so sorry that I cannot. It looks like Eleanor Siren. I can't. I'm so sorry. My eyes are blurring for some reason. I think it may have something to do with these eye drops because my eyes were bloodshot from where I hadn't slept more than an hour or two in a couple of days. I've been having back problems. I haven't been sleeping much. But yes, I love the haunted attractions. Anyway, I put eye drops in my eyes and they made my eyes feel like they were on fire. They did get the red out. My eyes, I don't think they have red in them. I can't really see. Plus that ring light, after a while, it kind of gets to me too. And I always have to keep my ring light on the lowest setting. In fact, my other ring light is not even on. I do that so it lights my background so that I don't look like I'm in a dungeon. But anyway, my eyes are really burning, so I can't see very well. But yeah, I do love those haunted attractions. The dark rides, we call them. There was one at Cedar Point, actually. Well, and there's one at Kings Island, too. I'm pretty sure all amusement parks have one. But, yes, I love those. But, like in haunted houses, I love those. In fact, between Columbus, Ohio and Mount Vernon, Ohio, where my significant other's mother and father lived at Apple Valley, that means nothing to anybody, but anyway, north of Columbus. We used to have to go up there, and there's this little town outside of Mount Vernon, Ohio called Bangs, like Bangs, like Bangs. I mean, I'm sure that's not what it means, and there was this old building that was an abandoned, it was a mental hospital in more recent history, but many, many years ago, it was actually the poorhouse. When when people had no money, and I mean, that was something that they did to people. I don't know if it was during the Depression. I actually don't know when there was a poorhouse. And that's what people called it. And, it's like in Oliver Twist, sort of, only it was in this country. And they would literally, if people found themselves indigent and they had nothing, it was kind of like being put in jail. They institutionalized them, and they went to this place called the poorhouse. Well, that's what this abandoned building was. It was at one time the poorhouse, and then it became a mental institution. And it was called the House of Horrors. At Halloween, probably started in about September to October. Oh, now that we're talking about dark rides, Eleanor, we can talk about haunted houses because I have another cool thing to tell you. But it was called the House of Horrors. It was in Bangs, Ohio. I think they finally tore that building. It was this big, huge, like 3 or 4 story brick building that was right out of a horror movie. It was so scary looking. And they had a haunted house in there. And I always wanted to go. And nobody would take me because my significant other knew that I act a fool when I'm in a haunted house. I lose my mind. And I am apt to hit, scratch, kick, whatever, anybody that gets near me when I'm in a haunted house. So it is a really bad idea, but I love it so much, and nobody that knows me will take me to one. Also, I do have a heart condition, but people wouldn't take me when they didn't even know I had a heart condition because I act a fool. And I always wanted to go to that. It's always rated, when it was still in existence, it was always rated one of the top haunted houses in the country. Oh, you live in Louisville? Sorry, Louisville. You know I live in Berea, right? Mom, how long are you going to be on here? I don't know. Now that I have you as a moderator, how long can I stay on here? Nothing but love for games. That's all I can get out of that. Nothing but love for games. AC Cup. Thank you for joining us. I'm trying to see the people that have joined us since I looked. Hi, I think I see Tonka. Is that right? Tonka 5555. I was saying my vision is blurred even with my glasses on. Maybe because of looking at the ring light for so long, or it may be some sketchy eye drops that I put in my eyes that I think are about 2 years old, but I hadn't opened them yet. And I think I remember when I bought them, I was having trouble with my eyes because of allergies, and I think I bought them and then brought them home and looked at the ingredients on the label and decided not to use them. Well, I was desperate. About an hour before I started this, I looked in the mirror. My eyes looked like I'd been on a 5-day bender or something. So I looked up and I thought, boy, I wish I had some Visine. And I looked up in my medicine cabinet, and sure enough, there was some eye drops. So I put them in, and then my eyes immediately felt like I lit them on fire. So I was thinking, but it eventually cleared up. The pain eventually went away, and then it looked like the whites of my eyes cleared up, and my eyes aren't hurting now, but my vision's a little blurry. maybe you shouldn't use 2-year-old sketchy eye drops. But anyway, we went to Kings Island and oh yes. Have you ever been there at Christmas, Smurfette? Because they do a similar thing at Christmas. Oh, Tonka 5555, investigate the paranormal. Very cool. Did you hear what I was talking about that place in Bangs, Ohio, that used to be the poorhouse and then became a mental hospital and then became a haunted house? And it was always listed as one of the best haunted houses in the country. But no, Smurfette, here's something else that you have to look into. It's something I always wanted to do. And Brad, I'm going to call him Brad, he was my significant other. He would never let me do it. But in Mansfield, Ohio, there is the Woman's Reformatory there. And I guess it's an abandoned building now. But it was the old Women's Reformatory. And it's actually where they filmed, they used it in the Shawshank Redemption. You know, the prison that you see in the Shawshank Redemption. I'm assuming everybody's seen the Shawshank Redemption. And they may not have, but you probably have. That is the old Women's Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. Now, also the Green Mile. They actually redid a section of the prison because it's been abandoned for many years. They redid a section of it for the Green Mile, where you see the prison scene and the green floor in the Green Mile. Well, that is the old Women's Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. Well, here's the really interesting thing. What they do, like for the month, maybe all of September and all of October, because that would only be 8 Saturday. I think they may do it Friday night and Saturday night. It's like maybe back, I mean, this has been 15 years ago. It was about $150 a person, and you have to book it if they're even still doing, well, during COVID, I'm sure they're not, but maybe by Halloween. But you have to book it a year or two in advance, because again, you've only got, it'd be 16 days a year, and I don't know how many people they let go in. But what they do is you go there at 6 o'clock in the evening, and they give you a tour, like they show you the redone part where the Green Mile was filmed, the prison, the actual Green Mile in the movie, the Green Mile, is in that building. They give you a tour of that, and then they lock you in until 6 o'clock the next morning. And you can roam around this old abandoned prison all night. And I wanted to do that so bad. And Brad said, you wouldn't stay. You would leave. And I said, no, I wouldn't. They won't let you leave. They won't let you leave. They lock you in and you can't leave until 6 o'clock the next morning. And back to how I kind of act a fool when I get scared and in haunted houses and things like that. His response to me was like, oh, they'll let you out. In fact, they will be kicking you out. Because I scream like a banshee when I get scared, first of all. And plus I lose my mind. Oh, have you been there? Have you ever done that before, Smurfette? Have you ever stayed at that prison in Mansfield, the Shawshank Redemption, the old Women's Reform? Is it Mansfield? Yeah, it is Mansfield. I was getting ready to say, is it Mansfield or Marion? But it is Mansfield. But yeah, I've been there where it is before, but I've never. And they did that in Columbus too, because they had the old Ohio Penitentiary in downtown Columbus that was abandoned for many, many years. They did a haunted house in that too, and I never got to go to that either. People won't take me to haunted houses. Well, they'll take me once. And never again. Yes. Oh, did you? The Moundsville prison. That's another one that I wanted to go to. I really want to go to that one too. Maybe I get somebody to take me. Maybe Alexis will take me because she has never been with me in a haunted house, so she won't know any better. Oh, you're in the Bloomfield area. I apologize, Eleanor, but I was born in Kentucky. In fact, I was born at the hospital that's about 2 miles from where I live now. But I spent summers here with my grandparents, but my dad was career military, so I never really lived here. And I never lived here in my adult life. I'd come to visit. So I don't really know, like I know Louisville. I know Lexington. I know, Madisonville. I know Owensboro, Paducah. I know roughly where they are, but I don't know, like Bloomfield. I've heard of it. Sounds like it must be around Louisville. I say Louisville, and for those of you who aren't from Kentucky, people outside of Kentucky may call it Louisville or Louisville. People who live in Kentucky call it Louisville. And I know that. I've been here all my life, but, I haven't lived here. I spent pretty much my whole adult life in Ohio, except for a brief stint in Madisonville, Kentucky, where Alexis and Zach were born. And, anyway, what do you think, Alexis? You think we should go? Or should we talk about haunted houses and whatever else we're talking about? You have until 9. What time is it now? Okay. See, having a moderator who is just like me, my moderators don't tell me when I go off, Alexis. I go off when I tell them I will out of respect and courtesy. So you're telling me that you'll stay until 9, right? Yeah, I have heard of Bloomfield before, but see, I don't know, because there's also a South Bloomfield, Ohio. Matter of fact, Alexis used to work there. Yes. Lex, maybe could we go tour that Moundsville prison in West Virginia sometime? That's probably not very far from here. But anyway, I moved to Kentucky. It'll be 5 years ago in August from Ohio because of a heart condition. I'm not able to work anymore. I have congestive heart failure and pulmonary hypertension, among other issues. So, when you don't have any money, I could actually live better here than I could if I had stayed in Ohio for the small amount of money that I have to live on. I could live much better here than I could there. I always say this, it's actually better to be poor in the country than it is in a big city. Probably you can live much more comfortably. That's just my own theory, my own observation. Yeah, I get really scared. Debbie. I get like... I heard Richard Pryor say this years ago. I think it was in Richard Pryor Live on Sunset Strip, one of the first actually live movies that a comedian did, like a full-length film that was a comedian stand-up, and it was Richard Pryor. And I'm pretty sure it was in this, where he said that when you see a snake, it'll make you do stupid things like run into trees and stuff like that. Well, that's kind of how I behave in haunted houses. They make me do stupid stuff, like run into trees or punch people. It's like I lose my mind. That's all there is to it. But the prison, what did you say, Alexis? No, we can't go there. We can't go to that prison. Well, I'm not going to come and stay the whole summer. We'll talk about this in private. But I can't come and stay there. What am I supposed to do with Minky and Mojo? I can't ask XT to keep them all summer. She'll keep them for a week or so, but I'm not going to ask her to keep them all summer. Hi, Cheryl Glade. Thank you for joining us. A week. Yes, I will stay a week with you. I told you I would. I absolutely said I would come and stay a week. And I think I'm probably going to be here by myself for a while longer. Okay, if I come and stay a week, because you said something when I talked to you last, or maybe it was on here last time. This must be how I keep in touch with my kids and my grandkids now, and my cousins. Oh yeah, I'm tired of COVID too. That's true, because for me, I don't know when COVID will end, because I can't take a vaccine because I've had an allergic reaction to the first flu shot I took years ago, and so I can't take the COVID vaccine because of that, because it sent me into anaphylactic shock, so I can't, and now, especially with my heart condition, they will not take that chance. So I'm not going to be vaccinated. I know you are, Al. Thanks for rubbing that in. But yeah, so and because of my heart condition and my elderly age, I am also at risk. So I pretty much stay in the house. I have my groceries delivered, which I did that even before COVID. But I don't really go anywhere. And my daughter Alexis and her husband have both had COVID. In fact, her husband was hospitalized. Many of my cousins, and in fact, two of my daughters that live in Ohio had COVID, Alexis and her sister. My cousins here and my cousins in Columbus, Ohio. Lex, you knew Scott and Stacy and Derek and Elena and Luke and all of them had and now Stacy has COVID, right? Yeah, you have autoimmune issues. Yeah, my one granddaughter has type 1 diabetes and autoimmune issues, but I don't know that she's gotten a vaccine. Yeah. Alexis is the only one, I think. No, Alexis, Scotty said my daughter Alexis and my cousin Scott, they're the only two people that I know that's had it that said they lost the smell and taste. Alexis lost her smell and taste, and my cousin Scott lost his smell and taste. But the other people in our family that have had it, they haven't said that they've lost their smell and taste. But in my immediate family, and I count my cousins are like brothers and sisters to me, and my aunts and uncles were like my mom and dad. So my cousins and my aunts and uncles are my immediate family. But none of my immediate family have passed on from COVID. Also, my cousin and his wife in Nashville, my cousin and his daughter that live in Bowling Green, Kentucky. But we haven't had any deaths in our immediate family. Now my cousin's sister-in-law passed away from it, and my other cousin's fiance's grandfather passed away from it, and I think there were a couple of other people that are like, on the periphery of our immediate family that have passed away from it, but nobody in our immediate family. I'm gonna look up here because I've been talking and not looking down. Nazar, you are still here, you poor thing. And Shelly, you're still here listening to me ramble on and haven't said a word. I know you've been to that Mansfield, that woman's reformatory in Mansfield. I know you've been there before. Did you ever go and do that thing? And I know you've been to that haunted house in Bangs, too. And you aren't even talking about it. I know you went to that place because I remember I wanted to go with you guys. And one time my friend Shauna was going too. Shauna and Mark Matheny and a bunch of them were going. And Brad told them if they took me, they were on their own. He would not be responsible. And he wouldn't go. He wouldn't have any part of it. So they wouldn't take me. 4RU8PO. 4RU8. Yuki and I, thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. Shelly, you haven't been to that? You never went to that haunted house in Bangs? I was almost sure that I remember you going one time. Or talking about it. You know which one I'm talking about, that House of Horrors place? And have you been to that, are you saying nope to the Mansfield Woman's Reformatory, or are you saying nope to the haunted house in Bangs? Okay, love you, Al. What time is it? Because if it's 9 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. If you guys don't mind. Oh, Nazar, you came back good. You didn't say. Oh, okay. Shelly, thank you so much for coming. I'm so happy to see you here. I'm sorry Shala wasn't here tonight, but she's been here. This is my 4th live. I only do it, Shelly. I mean, I think you've seen my advertisements. But what I tell people, how I want this to be, so I run my promos, and how I want it to be is like your favorite show on Thursday night. And sometimes I have a topic. This week I didn't really have one because I was just kind of catching up some things from last week. People ask me questions throughout the week. I will make a note of them. And I try to give shout outs to my friends. Like tonight I talked about Nazar, and I did want to give a shout out, even though he didn't come tonight. I found a TikToker that I absolutely love his videos and his music, and he is an incredible videographer and photographer. And I love his name too. It's Hitching a Ride Around the Sun. Hitching a Ride Around the Sun. And there's like a number after it, but I'm sure he's the only one if you do a search. And but yeah, Hitching a Ride Around the Sun. Go there and watch his videos, and he is one of the best I have ever seen at putting the music with the pictures. And he does those type of TikToks, but absolutely incredible. I could sit there and just watch them one right after another and over and over and over. The only one I couldn't watch over and over and over again is one with a snake, 2 with a snake in them. I didn't like that. But yeah, go check him out, and I will try to tag him in something so that you guys can find him, because absolutely incredible. But I told him he should come tonight, but he didn't. But that's okay. I'll see you next time, Hitching a Ride Around the Sun. But what I wanted this to be, again, is like your favorite show on Thursday night, and like people used to do a long time ago. Oh. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I thought that wasn't supposed to happen again for a while. But Oh, really? I'm going to have to look into that, Eleanor. Thank you for telling me that. But what I say at the end of every Thursday evening, and I usually only go from 7:30 to 8:30, but I had free reign with no moderators tonight, so I went wild. But I always say, see you next week, same time, same station. Love you all.